There was a recent resurgence of the isekai genre, particularly shoujo romance isekai, and arguably it's a whole different genre compared to original isekai stories, which were popular in the late 90s, early 2000s. And I definitely prefer modern isekai because it's geared at an older audience. It tends to be a bit more mature. The plots are very interesting. The art is beautiful. So I definitely prefer modern isekai stories. But there was one thing in the original isekai stories that I just thought was really cool. And that is the fact that in the original isekai, the girls usually got transmigrated to a different world in their own body. While in the modern isekai stories, the female lead usually possesses somebody else's body. And there's not necessarily anything wrong with that. There are definitely some things to think about with regards to the female lead possessing somebody else's body. But I want to talk about one particular implication of this difference, and that is the fact that in the original stories, the female leads got transmigrated to a different world in their own body, and of course, given the genre, given that it's shoujo, they got admired, and everybody found them beautiful for their own natural looks, where it's not really the case anymore. So given that the authors of these stories at the time were mostly Japanese, of the most popular isekai stories, it was actually the plot. A Japanese girl would get transmigrated to a different world, and she would be admired for her own natural beauty, for her Japanese features. And I think it was pretty cool and potentially empowering for the Japanese girls to see a girl who looks like them in some ways get transmigrated to a different world and be praised for the features that she also possesses. I don't know how realistic it was given the historical settings that those stories were set in, but since it's fantasy anyways, I just thought it was really cool and pretty empowering. Whereas right now, the female lead usually possesses somebody else's body, and one of her first reactions is to say that she can't believe that it's her body right now, and she can't believe how beautiful she is. Which is true. The body they possess are really beautiful. I would probably have the same reaction if I possessed one as well. But I just thought it was really cool and empowering the way it used to be in the original isekai stories. And of course, it doesn't have any serious implications for me, as I'm not East Asian, but even for a non-East Asian reader, I think it was still really cool to see a regular looking girl get transmigrated to a different world and see that everybody still likes her and admires her for her natural looks that aren't over the top and godlike with unnaturally long hair and huge diamond-like eyes. So even for a non-East Asian reader, I just think it's a really cool thing. And I just think it would be really cool if the authors of the modern isekai stories considered exploring this idea of female leads getting transmigrated to a different world in their own bodies, while keeping all these tropes that are a necessity in the modern isekai stories. So keep the same setting maybe, but explore the idea of placing a girl in her own body into this new world. I just think it would be a cool point of difference because I don't believe anybody does it now. Maybe there is a story, but I haven't encountered one yet. And I would definitely want to read a story like this. It could potentially create some interesting conflict. And this is it. It's just a thought that I had, and I just wanted to share it.